Germany says 10 EU governments, including Berlin, are preparing to take in 400 unaccompanied youngsters left homeless after Tuesday's fire at the Moria refugee camp on the Greek island of Lesbos. German Interior Minister Horst Seehofer said around 150 of them would be brought to Germany and France, but that details were still being worked out with the other EU nations involved. Greece has provided a ferry to house some of the 12,000 displaced refugees. 2 more ships will be sent in the coming days. For the past 3 nights, most have slept in the open and are struggling to get food and water.
A third night in the open, the parking lot of a supermarket. People who thought they had nothing left to lose have lost what little remained. Some bear the injuries sustained in trying to rescue their meagre possessions from the flames. And now autumn is coming and the nights are getting colder.
Very problem, no water, no food. Morning after sunny, but night very cold, very problem here.
As bad as conditions were inside the cramped refugee compound, the situation for the 13,000 former residents of Moria is now even worse.
This cannot be our final destination. Like, we cannot be sleeping under this place like this. You know, it's not human, it's not human.
400 miners have been evacuated to the mainland. Some of them may find a new home in Germany.
At the same time, I asked the Greek Prime Minister how we can help, and his request is that we, in particular, take the miners in who have now been brought to the Greek mainland. We have contacted France, and we will work together on this. I hope that some other EU states will do this also.
A passenger ferry has been pressed into service as temporary accommodation, while the United Nations rushes tents and sleeping bags to the island. The emergency aid should arrive later on Friday.
DW's Alexander von Namen is on the island of Lesbos, near the site of that Moria refugee camp. Alexander, what is the situation there now?
Well, the situation hasn't changed much, I have to say. People, thousands of them, are still stranded here. Just look around among them. Many families, the kids are crying. They spend their 3rd night here on the roadside. Many of them seem to be traumatized, tired, irritated. I spoke with a pregnant woman who told me that she is about to have her baby any time now, and of course she is terrified that that could happen here on the street. I also spoke to a mother. Her child is just 3 weeks old, and she is sleeping in a tent that was given to her by an NGO. So you see, the situation is just unbearable for those families still stranded here. Many of them told me that they don't understand why it's taking so long to resettle them. They told me, we are here in the European Union. We always thought that the European Union shows solidarity. It is a rich region, and we just don't understand what it's taking so long.
What are local authorities doing there to try to house and feed the people, Alexandra?
So what we mainly saw here were NGOs distributing water and food, but there is at least once a day food distribution by local authorities. I also saw policemen giving sandwiches away to children. The Greek authorities promised the people here to provide them with housing as quickly as possible, but we also know that any plans to build any temporary settlements are met with a lot of resistance and opposition from local authorities and from local residents here, who also say this is unbearable. These refugees, from their perspective, need to leave the island. So this is a very tough, very difficult situation for both, for the refugees and, of course, for the local residents as well.
Alexander, thank you very much for that update. That was DW's Alexander von Namen on the Greek island of Lesbos. The European Union is set to unveil a new pact on migration and asylum, which will shape the bloc's policy in the years to come. It's hoped it will help prevent the kind of chaos seen in the Moria refugee camp. The EU's Commissioner for Home Affairs has told DW News she believes all member states will back the proposals. I spoke to Commissioner Ylva Johansson a short while ago, and I began by asking her why the EU up to now has failed to agree on a common humanitarian approach to migration.
I can't answer why, but I can say that this is my overall task to present in a few weeks a new pact on migration and asylum. And I've spent a lot of time negotiating and talking with member states and parliament and other stakeholders. And I do think that we can present a holistic proposal that can get acceptance from all member states, because it's really necessary, both for the solidarity between member states, that we have a solid solidarity mechanism, but also with the solidarity with these individuals that are now, as you just saw here, living on the streets. And of course, that it's not sustainable, that we can't accept that.
Okay, you say it's not sustainable, what is happening on Lesbos and also the European policy on migration in general. This new pact on migration that you're developing, how is that going to help the people who are on Lesbos right now, out on the streets, desperate?
The acute situation we have to handle right now, and that's why we are active together with the Greek authorities, together with member states. I'm very happy that we have many member states also stepping up, saying they are ready to help. And the Commission, of course, is ready to help Greece, as we have done for many years. But I'm also responsible for setting up a new legislative proposal so that we will have a better and a system of more solidarity and more resilience and a better share of responsibility when it comes to migration in the European Union, and I'm going to do that.
Ms. Johansson, thank you very much for talking with us. That was Ylva Johansson, the EU Commissioner for Home Affairs.